Something was different about Caitlin Clark before this game even tipped off. She wasn't just preparing for another WNBA matchup. She was carrying a week of frustration that had been building behind the scenes. The headlines weren't focused on her performance. Instead, they were filled with speculation about her injury, and many of those stories didn't match what had actually happened. Less than 24 hours before facing the Golden State Valkyries, Clark finally decided she'd had enough. During a media session, she calmly addressed the rumors and explained exactly how the injury unfolded. She didn't dodge questions or hold back. She simply laid out the facts and cleared up the confusion that had been spreading across social media and sports news. For many players, that kind of attention can become a distraction. But for competitors like Caitlin Clark, criticism often becomes motivation. When great athletes feel misunderstood, they don't usually respond with long speeches. They let their performance do the talking. As game night arrived at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, it was obvious Clark had one goal in mind: to silence every doubt with her play on the court. No matter what defensive strategy the Valkyries had prepared, they were about to face a player who was focused, motivated, and ready to prove exactly why she's considered one of the brightest stars in women's basketball. Sometimes the biggest games begin long before the opening tip, and for Caitlin Clark, this was one of those nights.
And I actually went back and looked, because of all these narratives that are going crazy online, about when I told my mom I wasn't going to play the game. 4:47, and you guys found out at 5:20. So one of the most important people in my life found out 40 minutes before you guys.
What happened after that press conference made one thing crystal clear. Caitlin Clark wasn't interested in winning an argument with the media. She wanted to make her statement where it mattered most: on the basketball court. From the opening whistle against the Golden State Valkyries, she played with a level of determination that immediately stood out. Every possession carried extra intensity, and every decision looked purposeful. This wasn't just another regular season game. It felt personal. Clark appeared locked in from the very beginning, turning every criticism and every question surrounding her into fuel. Instead of letting outside noise affect her confidence, she used it to sharpen her focus. As the game unfolded, it became clear that the Fever weren't just relying on talent. They were following the lead of a player determined to set the tone. The final score would eventually read 90-82, but that number only tells part of the story. What truly stood out was Clark's mindset. She stayed aggressive, embraced the physical nature of the game, and never backed away from the challenge. By the end of the night, it wasn't just another impressive performance. It was a reminder that when Caitlin Clark is fully focused and playing with confidence, she has the ability to change the entire flow of a game. And as you'll see, the biggest moments were still yet to come.
They kind of did everything they could to stop Caitlin. And you got to give Nakase credit, because she is the guard stopper. That's her thing. That's her thing. She's able to stop guards. And she did everything to try to stop Caitlin. It didn't.
As the game got underway, it didn't take long to realize that Golden State had built its entire defensive strategy around stopping one player, Caitlin Clark. From the opening possession, every move she made was met with pressure. The Valkyries refused to give her clean looks, challenged every catch, and stayed physical every time she touched the basketball. Head coach Natalie Nakase clearly came prepared. Her team had studied Clark's game in detail. They knew about her deep shooting range, her quick release, and her ability to create space with just a single move. Instead of allowing her to get comfortable, the Valkyries threw multiple defenders at her, constantly changing matchups and forcing her to work for every possession. For much of the first half, the strategy appeared to be working. Clark wasn't getting the easy shots fans are used to seeing. Every drive was contested, every pass was challenged, and every possession became a battle. The physical defense disrupted Indiana's rhythm and slowed the pace of the game. But there's one thing history has shown about elite players. You can slow them down for a while. You can make every possession difficult. But keeping them quiet for an entire game is a completely different challenge. Instead of getting frustrated, Clark stayed patient. She kept reading the defense, waiting for the right opportunity to strike. Every possession gave her more information, and little by little, she began identifying the cracks in Golden State's game plan. The Valkyries believed they were controlling the game. What they didn't realize was that Caitlin Clark was already figuring out exactly how to break their defense apart. And once she found that opening, the momentum of the entire night was about to change.
part before we get to the Gabby Williams. What?
Right before the break, we got a little John going on. Caitlin says, "Hey, you
Look,
and me, Hayes, you
Kelly,
and me."
look at Caitlin blowing her kisses. Caitlin blew her kisses, bro.
With 5:14 to go.
Look. So no, it was Janelle Sloan and Caitlin Clark. Referees had to step in. Look at Caitlin, guys.
Late in the first half, the game reached its breaking point. After battling through constant physical defense, Caitlin Clark attacked the basket with confidence, chasing down a loose ball that quickly turned into a tense confrontation with Golden State forward Janelle Sloan. Neither player backed down. They exchanged words face-to-face as the intensity inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse instantly exploded. Players from both teams rushed toward the situation, while officials quickly stepped in to prevent things from getting out of control. Veronica Burton helped separate the two, and after a brief discussion, the referees handed both players technical fouls. As the teams walked into the locker room for halftime, the atmosphere had completely changed. This was no longer just another regular season game. It had become emotional. It had become personal. Moments like this can change the direction of an entire contest. Some players lose their composure after a confrontation like that. Others let the emotions affect their decision-making. But Caitlin Clark has built a reputation for responding differently. Throughout her basketball career, she's shown that pressure often brings out her best. Instead of allowing frustration to take over, she has a way of turning those emotions into extra focus and determination. With everything that had happened during the week, from the injury questions to the physical defense and now the heated exchange, it felt like the perfect storm. Golden State may have believed they were getting inside Clark's head. In reality, they may have awakened the most dangerous version of her. And when the second half began, everyone inside the arena was about to witness exactly what that looked like.
It's damn near altering the game, bro. It's just damn near altering the game. Let me pull this up real quick. Let me pull the game cast back up real quick. So it's another timeout. So the Fever call a full timeout. I would definitely like call a timeout. I don't know what happened. I got to see what happened.
Whatever was said during halftime, Caitlin Clark came back looking like a completely different player. The opening minutes of the third quarter felt like a turning point. With the score locked in a tight battle, Clark calmly brought the ball up the floor. Instead of rushing the offense, she took one confident dribble, stopped several feet behind the three-point line, and launched a shot that had the entire arena holding its breath. Nothing but net. The crowd erupted as the deep three splashed through the basket, instantly swinging the momentum in Indiana's favor. But Clark wasn't finished. As she ran back on defense, emotions were still running high. She exchanged a few competitive words with veteran guard Tiffany Hayes, showing the fire and confidence that have become a trademark of her game. It wasn't about disrespect. It was two fierce competitors battling in one of the biggest moments of the night. That sequence captured everything fans love about Caitlin Clark. She embraces pressure instead of avoiding it. The bigger the moment becomes, the more confident she seems to play. Every challenge she had faced leading into this game, the outside criticism, the physical defense, and the heated first-half confrontation, appeared to fuel her even more. From that point forward, the energy inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse completely shifted. The Valkyries had spent the first half trying to slow Clark down. Now they were the ones searching for answers. One deep three-pointer had completely changed the rhythm of the game, and Indiana suddenly looked like the team in complete control. It was the kind of superstar moment that reminds everyone why Caitlin Clark can change a game with a single shot.
Aaliyah Boston of Kelsey assist. Caitlin Clark makes 2 free throws. Tip Hayes hits a 3. Sophie Cunningham makes a free throw. Caitlin hits a big 3 to tie it up from like 30. From 30. They go hit a 3. Hines Allen's okay. And then suddenly it's like Caitlin makes a real tough layup and 1. She makes a super tough and 1 to give the Fever the lead for the first time. Caitlin misses a circus shot, then hits Sophie.
The moment Caitlin Clark started finding her rhythm, Golden State's defense began to crack. For most of the first half, the Valkyries had done an excellent job forcing difficult shots and making every possession a battle. But once Clark connected from deep, everything changed. The defense had to stretch farther out, opening driving lanes and creating passing opportunities that simply weren't there before. And that's when Clark became even more dangerous. Instead of chasing points, she started controlling every possession like a true floor general. She drew defenders toward her, then delivered pinpoint passes to open teammates, making Indiana's offense almost impossible to stop. By the end of the night, Clark had finished with 22 points, 9 assists, and 4 three-pointers, proving once again that her impact goes far beyond scoring. Her biggest partner in crime was Aaliyah Boston. Boston dominated the paint with 20 points and an impressive 16 rebounds, taking full advantage of the opportunities Clark created. Their chemistry was on full display, and together they gave the Fever one of their most complete performances of the season. After the game, Golden State head coach Natalie Nakase didn't make excuses. She admitted her team had prepared extensively for Caitlin Clark, studying film, designing coverages, and trying multiple defensive adjustments throughout the game. But even with all that preparation, Clark continued finding solutions. Every time the Valkyries tried to close one door, she discovered another way to attack, whether it was a deep three, a drive into the lane, or a perfectly timed assist. That's what separates good players from generational stars. They don't just play the game, they solve it in real time. With performances like this, the Indiana Fever continue building confidence, and if Clark keeps playing at this level, they'll become a serious threat every time they step on the floor. This wasn't just another win. It was another reminder that when Caitlin Clark is healthy, confident, and in control, stopping her for an entire game is one of the toughest challenges in the WNBA. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button, leave your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for more WNBA stories, highlights, and game analysis.